No way. I turn my head for 10 minutes and I come back and she's had her babies. No way. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Memorial Day. Hope everybody is enjoying family and barbecues and hopefully good weather wherever you are, as we remember those who paid the ultimate sacrifice, their lives, so we could be free. On a more positive note, we're going to look at some babies today. Big Sarah, the hypo salmon girl, she actually had her babies on the 15th. We have 36 babies. Unfortunately, she did not prove out to be a super salmon, so we have some normal Colombian boas, and then we've got some hypomelanistic boas. And I kind of ran through a quick sexing of them, and looks like we have, I want to say, about 22 girls maybe, and 14 boys. But I usually do a triple check on that. So let's go ahead and check some of them out. I love ramen noodles, don't you? These are the sheds. Look at all the little sheds, 36 sheds in all. And these happened in the last day or so. So all the little babies have absorbed all their yolk, and they're all looking good. I actually tried to offer a couple a meal this morning, and they didn't take it. Didn't surprise me, because they still have to kind of settle into their individual tubs where I'm going to put them, and it might be a little bit too soon. That's one of the benefits. Mom has given them a head start in life with the yolk, and they end up absorbing it, and it carries them for quite some time until they're finally ready to go ahead and find their first little rodent out in the wild. So in this case, I might just wait another week and see if they're interested in like a little fuzzy of some sort. But let's go ahead and check some of these guys and gals out. All right, so here's some normals. Just for the sake of showing them outside, I kind of condensed them into kind of multiple snake tubs, if you will. But in the snake room, they're all going to have their own 6-quart enclosure. And I'm going to jinx myself, because so far I have not been bit by any of these little guys yet. But you watch. Now that I say that, they'll probably do it. So this is a collection of normals. These are males. You can tell they're normals because they kind of have, well, hypomelanistic ones are a lot lighter. Although these are pretty for normals. Got some decent color on the tail. Most BCIs have kind of more of a brownish rust color as opposed to a nice red like the BCCs. This one's going to be off to the races here. Come on. So these are, once again, these are the normal boys, and they all look really good. And if you're just checking out the channel here for the first time, or oops, you're not familiar with the backstory on this, these are babies that came from a hypo girl that was given to me by my friend Tom Crushfield when he did his move to his new location, and she was already gravid, bred by just a normal Colombian male. So yeah, this is going to get a little crazy here, so I'm going to have to wrangle them up. All right, so this is one of the hypos. These hypos are definitely not as light as the ones I usually produce from like my males and females. They're selectively bred for really, really creamy pastel type colors. And usually both parents are hypo or salmon, but still pretty. See that nice kind of creamy color. See a little bit of peach on the tail. And as this is a male, let me see. What is this? I think it is a male. But as this little one gets bigger, the color will come out. Kind of have a baby gray when they're born. That's a male. Basically, I just kind of gently put a little pressure on the behind the vent there, and if there's a couple of hemipenes there, you'll feel them. So this is one of the boys, and good weight, and we got 35 more babies. I'm not going to show them all in this video, but I will let you know when they are available. Half of these are going to go to Tom Crutchfield because obviously he was the one who bred the litter and was nice enough to say I could have half. And I took possession of that female in mid-December, and she had her babies, I think it was the 15th of this month. So we will find good homes for all of these babies and let you know, if you're interested, how to get one. They're going to be very reasonably priced, so just want good homes for them. I'm not sure if how Tom's going to handle the sales of his. Whether I will do it for both of us or not remains to be seen. We'll find out. But anyway, this is one of the nice little hypo boys. These guys are very, very squirmy. So as I was saying, I will resex them and make sure that I get it 100%. It's usually very easy to sex baby boas. They don't have a lot of muscle control, and you got to be gentle, but just kind of sliding your thumb from the vent back is usually a pretty easy way to tell. And the females also have a much thinner tail because there's no hemipines in the vent at all. So here's a couple of the hypos. So as I was mentioning, as they get older, they'll lighten up. There's a wasp buzzing around me. Get out of here. Get out. Is it a wasp or is that a horsefly? It's a horsefly. It's dead. Okay. But yeah, very all healthy, good weight. And so far, none of them have tried to take a swat at me. I wouldn't blame them if they did. Because in nature, things come from above. And they're sitting ducks, you know. Let's see, these are, yeah, those are hypos. You can see the pinks. But the normals are pretty decent. They're not as dark as a lot of them are. Watch out. But yeah, you can kind of see that nice pink tail. The orange coloration. Mom is really pretty, so. Dad, just a standard looking Colombian. But anytime you get healthy baby boas, it's a cause for celebration. So this is an extra special litter for me because it was a gift from my friend Tom Crutchfield, who obviously needs no introduction when it comes to the reptile world. So I'm definitely going to hold back one of these. Probably like one of the hypo girls. Just because. So we're each going to get 18 babies. And I will make sure we get a fair number of hypos to normals and males to females and make it as fair as possible. I honestly didn't really expect to keep any of these, so he's very generous letting me have half because I was just happy to, you know, help out by making sure that the female gets what she needs and has the proper temperatures and everything. And he gave her to me the day that I picked her up in the middle, I think it was like December 14th. So, and he knew she was pregnant then just by feeling her. So, but yeah, they're very, very good-natured little snakes. You know, obviously they're all that. Oops, sorry, oh, bumped you. They're all valuable because they're, you know, God's creatures, but it's all about the rarity of the paint job that dictates the cost, you know, the price. How many generations does it take to produce a certain visual? And these are just kind of your common hypoboa, common normal. This might get out of control here. I'm going to probably have to put them down because I don't want them to get flailing around. And it's very hard to film them. It is hot as blazes out here today, and it's super humid. Just some normal girls. I have that rusty kind of coloration. Hi. Hi. You know, my very first boa constrictor, her name was Athena. And I got her when I was living in Phoenix, Arizona. And that was in like 2001, I believe that was. My first boa ever. And I got her from a friend of mine, Keith Davidson, who had a litter of all normal boas. I think they were $100 a piece on Craigslist. And I decided, you know what, I've always wanted one of these. And didn't really know anything about morphs. So I reached out and got a female, and she produced my second litter ever. I bred her with a Rich Eiley produced co-dominant salmon male. Got like kind of like this, half the litter were hypos and half the litter were normals. And that was my first ever boa constrictor, and she lived a pretty decent life. She did end up passing away with a cancerous tumor, so I don't know, if that was just a genetic thing or what, but if you take good care of your boa constrictors, they can easily live 20 plus years, and I think she made it like 15. Not long enough. I think I only bred her like 3 times. But yeah, she's I always think of Athena when I look at these normals, because this is what she looked like. But yeah, look at how calm they are. You know, they're just kind of smelling the air, tasting everything. Want to come out and explore. Want to see Daddy? Not really Daddy. I guess I'm great grandpa. I don't know. But yeah, look at it. People that say snakes aren't smart, they're coming right up to me. Sure, they're smart. What are you talking about? They know. They want to get high. They want to get up in a tree. And I guess that's what they think I am. They think I'm a tree. This one wants to take off, go somewhere else. But anyway, very happy that all these little guys seem to be very healthy, and they should be eating their first meal in the next week or so. And once they have a couple meals in them, and I know that, they're passing urates and poop and all that, I know all the plumbing is working, everything's working on both ends, that's when they'll be offered for sale. So stay tuned for that. All right, I'm going to pause this video so I can put these guys back. It's like Medusa here. I got 3 and I'm going to have 4. Okay. 4 crazy snakes flailing about. This is usually the time. If you're going to get bit, this is the time it happens, because they start freaking out. They start flailing around, and you're not really holding them properly, and they don't feel very secure. You're not really becoming a tree, or I don't know what you're becoming, but this is what they don't like. But you can see they're still doing just fine. All right, this is what happens when you only have one hand to wrangle. So you kind of get the idea. Some hypos, other hypos. I wrote normal, but there might be one hypo in there. That might be a hypo. But basically, when I put individual numbers on them and resex them and get them into their own little individual 6-quart tub, I'll get labels on them, and we'll know exactly what we have. That's a nice looking hypo right there. You can see her. That's a girl. Yeah, see her. Nice saddles, nice creamy color. But very happy. Once again, there was 36 babies born. One was born, I believe it was a normal, and it was kind of like malformed, so it must have kind of gotten squeezed a little bit too tight in the egg, and it didn't develop properly, and it was stillborn, but decent size. And then there was 2 slugs. Slugs are unfertilized eggs, so the male basically did his job, and so did the female. She brought 36 babies to full term, an average of 120 days, give or take, from ovulation. And the male was able to successfully fertilize 36 out of, actually fertilized 37 technically, out of 39 eggs. The stillborn wasn't his fault, so sometimes it just happens. They get kind of a little bit packed in too tight. Could be lots of different things. Maybe I speak because I wasn't there when the birth actually happened. I don't know what order the slugs came out, because if you have a slug on one side of you, which usually you will, you'd be lucky if there's only two next to each other, but the slugs basically stop the airflow. So any babies that are next to a slug run the risk of, not developing. So yeah, these are two hypos. You can kind of tell, see how nice and light they are. Still a lot of baby gray though. There's baby gray there. Baby gray goes away as they get older and shed. But anyway, that's going to do it for these babies. We'll let's go visit with Mom. All right, she's getting ready to shed. She's blue. She's still eating. Got to put that weight on after not eating for almost 4 months. After having her babies. All right, so here's Mom. Mom is, she's in a shed cycle right now. Her eyes were glazed over and opaque the last couple of days. They're just starting to clear up, which means she is going to be shedding her skin. And this will be the first shed since she had the babies, because when they're pregnant, they're obviously stretched out and they are super, super bloated and huge. And then when they deliver their payload, all the babies get born and their skin is kind of loose and saggy. Like they just went on like Ozempic on steroids or something. So she is going to be shedding that skin, and she will look absolutely beautiful in a couple of days when that happens. She has eaten 4 really, really large rats since she gave birth, and she's going to continue to really kind of keep eating quite a bit. She needs to put a lot of weight back on because she actually didn't eat. She ate one time for me, and I offered her some small meals in early January, and nope. So it's interesting how they know. They don't eat when they're pregnant, and after they deliver their babies, it's on. So she is going to continue to get some meals, and we'll get that weight right back on her again. So absolutely beautiful hypomelanistic female, and she did her job and did her job well. All right, everyone, thanks a lot for tuning in. Enjoy your Memorial Day. Remember those who fought and paid the ultimate sacrifice so we could be free. And enjoy your reptiles. And we'll see ya on the next one.